stick back out on the play. All a shot save. Pasternak scores! David Pasternak!
At home.
Well, it happened again, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Brady has announced his retirement, this time presumably for good. How's it going, everybody? I'm Grant Fluff, Fluster Sports Zone. Sam in the back, just doing his laundry. He'll be giving his opinions on the retirement as well. Let's just say the first thing that I was looking at when I woke up at 8:30 this morning, I was not expecting Brady to retire. You know, I thought it was a possibility, but I was also thinking, well, he's still producing solid numbers, good enough to be a starter again next year. Maybe he goes to a scheme where he has had previous coaching experience, like the Raiders teaming up with Josh McDaniels. But alas, that is not the case as Brady announced his retirement this morning. 45 years old, truly impressive stuff there. Of course, Brady, 7-time Super Bowl champion, 15-time Pro Bowler. He also won 3 MVPs, 5 Super Bowl MVPs. We can go on and on and on.
People say he's not the GOAT.
People say he's not the GOAT. Let me tell you something. If you say Peyton Manning or Joe Montana is better, you are invalid. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And also, Patrick Mahomes, stop. He needs to win like at least 5 more rings and a bunch of other stuff before we can even consider him as a top 5 quarterback. So pump the brakes. And yes, I will be doing a Super Bowl predictions, and probably even on Sunday we'll be doing a Super Bowl pregame, but that will be for a different day. So of course, Brady retires this morning. He ends with, let's see here, over 102,000 yards. And in terms of touchdowns in the regular season, 649. Add on, I believe it is 88 he threw in the playoffs. Wow, that is very impressive stuff there, of course. Brady, one of just 3 quarterbacks to beat all 32 teams. He was able to do that when he beat the Patriots last season in Week 4. And what was actually, for a non-Jaguar game, probably the most excited I've ever been to watch a game, not including a Super Bowl. But, okay, Brady retired. What does this look like for the Buccaneers now? Well, now that Blaine Gabbert is a pending free agent, the only quarterback up for contract next year is Kyle Trask. As much as I want to sit here and I want to just bask in Kyle Trask being the starter as a Florida Gator fan, we got to be real with ourselves here. It ain't going to happen. He's decent. He showed in Week 18 and his limited stint against the Falcons that he's decent, but obviously heading into his 3rd year, he's going to need to improve on a lot of things. We'll see how the preseason goes, but I think that the Buccaneers are going to go after a veteran quarterback next year. Now, we take a look at some quarterbacks that are going to be on the market. You have Derek Carr, you have Carson Wentz, you have Teddy Bridgewater, but here's the guy who I think Tampa Bay is going to go after. And to me, this should be no surprise, as this was also announced earlier today. Jimmy Garoppolo will not be returning to the 49ers.
Really?
Yep, that was announced by Kyle Shanahan today. They're gonna be rolling with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance as their 2 quarterbacks, which shocks me. You would think that they would trade Trey Lance after last year suffering that injury, but
You think they would still get Garoppolo and Purdy? Just have either way would have been okay, but that shocked me. Okay.
Yeah.
Did not see that. And the Niners are one of my favorite teams. I did not see that.
Yeah. I didn't see that either. Again, I thought they were going to trade Lance at the draft. They were going to re-sign Garoppolo to a 1-year deal and stick with Purdy or until, he gets injured or whatever the case may be, and then switch back to Garoppolo. But San Francisco is going to roll with Purdy and Lance, which is very interesting. So, obviously, leaving Garoppolo as a free agent. Now, there's a few teams Garoppolo is rumored to go to. The one I've seen the most is the Jets. I said in a tweet earlier this offseason earlier in the playoffs that I could see Garoppolo signing a 1 or 2 year deal with the Washington Commanders, but they elected to start Sam Howell instead, so that's off the board. I think now we are looking at Garoppolo heading to the Buccaneers, and I think that makes a lot of sense for them. They got a reliable veteran. They can, whether they, do terrible next year, they can draft a quarterback in 2024, or whether, hey, Garoppolo's a decent stopgap option. Let's keep you as the starter, short-term, long-term, whatever. Maybe you use him as a building piece for Kyle Trask. I don't know what the Bucs are going to do here, but I do say that Jimmy Garoppolo signs with Tampa.
No. They're gonna Bradyify him too, huh? Is that what you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like father, like son, like student, like teacher. Yeah, no, I don't see that. Garoppolo, I could see him going I could see him coming back to the AFC, low key.
Jets?
I feel like no, I don't think he'll come back to the AFC East. I think the Jets are in a spot where they either need to go big or go home.
So
I mean, maybe the Colts, because Matt Ryan didn't work out. Sam Ellinger has proved that really isn't gonna work out either.
Right.
So maybe he goes to the Colts, immediately gets the starting job there. Built him. He has a couple of decent receivers.
I mean, Michael
The Colts
Pittman.
could do okay.
Yeah.
They'll probably not win the division next year. I know Grant's gonna like
Yes, sir. I got the Lawrence jersey right in front of me.
I think the Jags have the division next year. It's just that, they have to make sure that they do okay. They actually, have a decent offseason and not get rid of their top pieces. But
I like that. I like that Garoppolo going to the Colts. That's not a bad idea, actually.
I can see that.
I could, too.
That's my thoughts.
I was originally thinking Derek Carr goes to the Colts.
Ew.
But
that's disgusting.
but now we could be looking at Derek Carr potentially going to the Jets, Garoppolo to the Colts.
I can see Carr to the Jets. I can see that.
I could see Carr going to the Jets too.
I think the Jets are going to trade Zach Wilson this offseason.
Oh yeah, definitely. Zach Wilson will be a backup somewhere though. That's a definite. Zach Wilson ain't starting unless Tampa Bay wants to take on Zach Wilson.
As I said, the only place he'd start is Tampa, Atlanta, or Indianapolis.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, even the Colts is pretty because they're projected to take a QB if they weren't going to go after a veteran like Garoppolo or Carr. But I think Garoppolo, he could go to the Bucs. We shall see what happens there. I know Carr's also been rumored to go to the Bucs. If we're living in fantasy world, Lamar Jackson gets traded to the Bucs, but that's not going to happen. I think Ravens are franchise tagging him, so I don't think they got to worry about that. In other news about the Bucs, of course, Julio Jones expected to become a free agent. Listen, at 34 years old, I think it's time for Julio Jones to retire. Not that he had an awful season by any means, but he's just not cutting it. He's essentially a wide receiver 4 at this point. Yeah, he just had 2 touchdowns. Both of those touchdowns came earlier on in the season.
Was he in Tampa all of last year?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It wasn't really noticeable.
Yeah, he only played in 10 games because he dealt with an injury after week 4, and he missed 3 weeks there. But, yeah, just 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean,
that's it?
That's it for Julio Jones.
Never thought I'd say that.
No, another receiver who could be on the out is Scotty Miller, and I say that because, hey, say what you want about Russell Gage, but he did very well the last few months of the season.
I remember, because I have a friend who's a Bucs fan, I remember him mentioning Russell Gage's name a lot before his injury.
Yeah, and of course he suffered the injury in the playoffs, so maybe that changes some things. But yeah, I think Scotty Miller's gone. He's a good deep threat guy, but yeah, I would expect him to be gone from Tampa Bay as well. As with the veteran Cameron Brate, the tight end, as Cade Otton blossomed into his own. Now, Brate's an interesting option. We could look at a potential draft trade here. He didn't catch a touchdown, but last season, but we know he is a solid veteran. He's been on Tampa Bay since 2014 and definitely would be a starting tight end elsewhere in places like Indianapolis, maybe even Cincinnati or New York, the Giants. So we'll see what happens with Cameron Brate there, but I think he's potentially on the out. And then we take a look at this defense again. They have a few pending free agents here. Levante David being the big name that they could potentially lose on defense. And I do think Levante David's out of there. Now that Tampa Bay is no longer in their contending window, he's going to want to win at least one or two more rings to potentially boost his potential Hall of Fame status. So I think David's gone. He only had 3 sacks last year anyways. Right now, no. If he wins another Super Bowl or makes a Pro Bowl or two, yes.
Sure.
That could also be depending on where he signs to get that final push. Monte David, I'm going to say this. If this team has salary cap, he's going to the Bills. And he is going to make that defense a whole lot better. He's going to make that run defense a whole lot better.
The Patriots fan in me is currently crying about that. I don't like the idea of that, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think David could sign with Buffalo. I think if he's going to sign with an NFC team, Dallas, maybe. I would say Philadelphia, but I think they got too many contracts right now.
The Eagles' defense is fine the way it is.
Yeah, no need to add on to that. And another interesting piece, their safeties. I think they're going to target safeties in the draft. Keanu Neal and Logan Ryan, both of their contracts are expiring. And another option,
Logan
I think
Ryan
they
plays
could
the
trade.
Bucs?
Yep.
Oh,
He's out with the Bucs. Oh God, week 4 maybe. Let's look that up.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too.
Patriots legend.
Patriots legend, Titans legend.
Yeah,
Okay, so he actually signed with them in the preseason, so he was just injured for 9 weeks. Wow.
With what?
I forget what the injury was exactly. I think it was a hamstring or something, but 9 games for Logan Ryan on the year. He only had 1 interception. By far the worst of his career. He had a career low 37 combined tackles. But Ryan's definitely a serviceable player, but I think he's definitely gone. Buccaneers should probably get younger, as their cornerback group has shown. Carlton Davis, Jamal Dean, both 26 years old, both already locked up, so I don't got to worry about corners there. One corner that I do think will be on the move is Sean Murphy Bunting. I think they're going to actually trade him either at the draft or right before free agency. They're probably going to want to clear up a little bit more salary cap.
For what?
And I think they could honestly target an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
work on the left side because,
What's
Tristan Wirfs can't do everything on his own. Let's take a look at the Buccaneers salary cap heading into next season.
Because obviously Brady frees up a lot.
Yep. Brady frees up a lot of that.
Wait, was it because so you originally signed a 2-year deal with 3rd-year option, right?
Yeah.
So you picked up the 3rd-year option. And now so actually no, never mind. Well yeah. That would free up money. Because Brady's gone now. What was he making? Like $30 million?
Yeah, he was making $35 million. And that brings up Brady again. Last thing before we wrap up the video. How's he gonna do in Fox Sports next year? Signing that 10-year contract.
I think Brady is gonna do fine with Fox.
I think so too.
I think the number 1 Fox analyst is gonna be Brady next year.
It will be confirmed. He will be with Kevin Burkhardt.
That makes sense. I think it should be either Kevin Burkhardt or Joe Davis as the play-by-play. I think Joe Davis is a very underrated football commentator. He's obviously awesome for baseball, but for football, he's good too.
Right.
And then I think Tom Brady has underrated charisma that he can bring to the desk. He can bring to the announce booth. So we'll see what he does. I think Brady will do just fine. I think he'll still have that passion for football. He's not leaving the game. He's leaving the actual field. He's not leaving the game. So he'll be doing his own thing with Fox. I mean, sure, he'll do fine there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't see Brady as a commentator, but you're right. I think he's going to be great.
Because we watched the Man in the Arena, right?
Yeah, he was a great narrator there.
Yeah, because we both, and Kyle, who's in the chat, said that we were watching the Man in the Arena documentary. We watched it from start to finish. Any of us haven't seen it before, so we watched it all. And Brady was funny throughout it. If he can bring some of those like those one-liners that he had in between scenes, and
right,
man, he'd be hilarious.
Look at it this way, like Tony Romo's so good of a broadcaster, right? Imagine Brady, who played in the league for 23 years, has been around better coaches, and has played in more big games.
Right.
And has won far more trophies and accomplishments. So I think it's just bringing in that amazing experience to the booth, and he gets to kind of share all those moments with us.
I think Brady being a commentator is actually the best thing he could have done after his post-football career.
I was thinking
it
but
it was either that or a quarterback's coach.
Yeah, I was thinking
to start and then maybe lead to a head coach job.
Funny enough, what if he returned to New England and coached under Belichick?
That would be weird.
That would be weird, and
I don't know if I'd like that.
I don't think I'd like that either. Because thinking that now Brady, full control of what Mac Jones does.
Well,
most of it.
Hold on, that might not be the worst idea because
it wouldn't be the worst idea, but
Mac
that would be
that
interesting.
mentor there, right?
Right.
A guy like Tom Brady, who's the greatest quarterback to ever step foot on that field.
Right.
Having him as a mentor to you, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Mac. However, I think with Bill O'Brien coming in now as a new offensive coordinator, Mac's would have a real offensive coordinator. This would be a bounce back season for him. I think.
Mac's going to do fine next year.
I'm not going to go the extent of what our friend said the other night, saying he's going to have an MVP season.
Okay, no, but he will show improvement.
He's going to have a much better season than he did last year.
Definitely.
He could be an MVP caliber quarterback in the next few years. Absolutely. He has potential to. Absolutely. I can't debate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with Bill O'Brien under his wing.
Bill O'Brien, I mean, look what happens. Matt Patricia's not in charge of the offense. I should be seeing a much better offense. I mean, yeah, Patricia looked. Patricia looked all right the past few weeks, but that's the problem. It took him 15 weeks to fully get adjusted into that job.
Too late.
Way too late. Of course, with the Patriots finishing 8-9, with a quarterback quote like whisperer who knows what he's doing, you're looking at 9 or 10 wins, I would think, next year.
I mean, if the Patriots, they look like they have a decent schedule, a mix of hard games and easier games. If the Patriots do well, they could go 11-7, 11-6, 12-5.
I think 11-6 is like the Patriots' ceiling, but
it depends, right? Because they could steal a game or two.
That's true.
Because they could probably hit 12-5, maybe. They won't win the division unless Buffalo just immediately sucks for no reason. It's Buffalo's division to lose in the AFC East. I think the Patriots do have a shot if Buffalo sucks, which they won't. But if they do, for some reason, then the Patriots could win the AFC East next year if the Bills just absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Jets. The only way the Jets I think are going to make any noise is if they get Lamar. I don't think that's going to happen. Ravens are going to franchise tag him. Miami, they're just so inconsistent. Like, great team on paper, better than the Patriots on paper, but
I agree.
With the whole, you never know if Tua's going to get injured, and the whole
Tua's the most injury-prone quarterback I've seen in a long
time.
Jalen
Waddle's very inconsistent, as we've seen at the end of the season. Like, their offense is just too shaky for me to really get a full gauge on them. Of course, I'll do what I did last offseason, too. I'll go predict every single game before the preseason. That'll be a fun stream, by the way. But,
oh, boy, I saw you do that last year.
49ers go 15-2 with Trey Lance winning MVP. Wow. Amazing.
You almost got the record right. They were like 12-5, 13-4.
Trey Lance winning MVP.
They were 13-4, but you were way off. Your MVP got injured week 1. Good job.
Week 2. Yeah. And then I said Bills Rams would be the Super Bowl, which, I mean, we all knew Buffalo was making the playoffs, but not the Rams. That was rough. But we'll do that again next offseason. That's fun. But anyway, just wanted to make this quick little announcement for those who didn't know. Brady retired earlier this morning, and it will be for good. And he will be joining Fox Sports next season, hopefully. I'm a coach. I'm offering him a coaching job, so we'll see what happens there. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button. I'll see you guys in the next video.